Okay, in this video, Hermson teaches you the final installment of factoring. So I showed you what to do with three terms. That's GCF table, and then you bring it over here and for further inspection on seeing what you can break down. He also did two terms, GCF dots. Again, you bring those over here, see what you can do. Now in polynomials, this is the final installment because there can be two terms, three terms, or four terms. Well, guess what? Now there's four. With four terms, okay, the GCF's 1. I mean, you would see if you have a GCF, but 1, 7, 9, and 63 is 1. Don't even set up that box when there's four terms. I'll explain why the GCF's going to be 1 on all of these. You don't have an X in the final term, okay, so you can forget that. And first term's negative, so GCF's a waste of time. What I would like to introduce is grouping, okay? So I'll make a box. You need a big box for that. Grouping. Grouping isn't too bad. It's kind of annoying. Here's how grouping is set up. You make a sum of two parentheses, get the plus in between them. Then you do the same thing with little space lines out front because you're going to factor things out. Then at the end, you make a line with a parentheses and just put a little parentheses right there. Okay, that'll be the end of it. Okay, all right, so first thing, we put the 1x cubed with the 7x to the second. Then you put negative 9x, and it needs to be negative or this is screwed up from the get-go, minus 63. Now, you look at them two at a time. Now, 1 and 7, the GCS 1. You are going to put 1 there, though. Okay, look at the x on the last number. It's to the second, so we put x to the second with the 1. The first number is positive, so I divide by a positive. Okay? Now I move over here. 9 and 63. Now on that multiplication table, okay, if you're not good at your times table, look at the 9th row. Oh, 63 is in that row too. So the 9th row, it would be 9. Now that doesn't have x, so we don't put an x, but the first number is negative. So you need to make it what you're dividing by negative. So you're like, what determines whether I divide by a negative or a positive? The first number. That's your factoring. The first number. It's negative, you're going to divide by negative. Positive, you're going to divide by positive. As far as x goes, whatever's on that last term. Okay, so we're going to be factoring out whatever I'm dividing by here rolls outside, 1x squared. Whatever I'm dividing by here goes outside here, and it's 9. Now, we know the x squareds cancel. 1 divided by 1 is 1. X third divided by x second. Well, that'd be x times x times x, then x times x. I'd have x, okay? Plus 7. Now, funny thing happens here. That's 1x. Negative 63 divided by negative 9 is plus 7. So what did I get in each parentheses? The same thing. Put that out here. Okay? Now, cross those out. And you have 1x squared. And if you have negative 9, you need to write minus 9. Okay? Now, bring those over here for further inspection. 1x plus 7. You can just go x plus 7 if you want to. 1x squared minus 9. Now, that obviously can't be broken down. First off, it's got a plus. Second of all, the x doesn't even have a power. So, that's finished. Put it down there. How about that? Well, 9 is 3 times 3. I know I can forget the 1. X seconds, x times x. You bet that breaks down further. X, 3, 3. Okay? And that is finished. And so is that. It has a minus, but 3 and x are not perfect squares. So that's your answer, 1x plus 7 or x plus 7 times x plus 3 times x minus 3. Okay, my next problem, x to the third power minus 2x to the second power minus 16x plus 32. You won't have a GCF. I don't think I have a GCF problem with 4 terms in the curriculum, so I go to grouping. Make the sum of the parentheses, and the same thing with lines outside. And a little parentheses there. Okay, so you're going to put 1x to the third minus 2x to the second. Then you got to put negative 16x plus 32. Okay, now 1 and 2, the GCF's 1. You are going to put 1, and you also got to put x to the second. Now the first number is positive, so I divide by positive. That's the 3 things I got to look at. 16 and 32, look in the 16th row. 32's there, so we're going with 16. However, that last term doesn't have x. Now the third thing we ask is the first number negative. Yes, it is, so I divide by negative. So 1x to the second pops out here. Negative 16 pops out there. That just rolls to the outside. So 1 divided by 1 is 1. X third divided by x second is x minus 2, and the x seconds cancel. Then over here, negative 16 divided by negative 16 is 1 with the x. And then 32 divided by negative 16 is negative 2, so minus 2. What do you know? The parentheses, they match. Put it out there. And what do I have left? I have 1x to the second power and negative 16, which makes minus 16. Okay, bring those over here for closer inspection. I'm actually just going to get rid of the 1s, don't need those. Okay. That's a minus, but 2's not a perfect square, and even if it was, the x doesn't have a power, so that one's finished. That one ain't, because you got 4 times 4 and x times x. 4, 4. That one's finished. And so is that one. You may have a minus, and 4 may be 2 times 2, but the x doesn't have a power. It's finished. Can't break it down. X plus 2, x plus 4, x minus 4. Okay, next problem. X to the third power plus 4x to the second power minus 9x minus 36. All these are 4 terms. You have to use grouping on all of them. So parentheses plus parentheses. Then the same thing with little spaces outside when I factor out the GCF out of each parentheses. Then little parentheses. So you put 1x to the third plus 4x to the second. Then you put negative 9x minus 36. 1 and 4 is 1, but you have x to the second on the last term. Okay. 9 and 36, so go to the 9th row. And also, the first number is positive, so we divide by a positive. 9 and 36, you got 9 and 36 in the 9th row. That doesn't have x, so we don't put an x. No business putting an x on there. And the first number right there is negative, so I need to divide by negative. Okay, see here the first number is positive. So 1x second, and then negative 9 pops out. These should end up the same. So that'd be 1, x third, x second is x, plus 4, cross the x's out. Then you get 1x plus 4. And so I have the same expression in each parentheses. That expression is now out. And then after it I have 1x to the second minus 9. Okay, now write those 2 things. If there's a 1 in front, you can drop it. It has to be a 1 though. The one with the plus, that's finished. one with a minus, okay? It's going to be 3 times 3, x times x, so you bet that goes down into perfect squares. That's finished. And so if the x doesn't even have a power, it's finished. It doesn't even matter what else is there. Okay, x plus 4, x plus 3, x minus 3. Okay, x to the third power minus 3x to the second power plus 6x minus 18. Got 4, so grouping. Parentheses plus parentheses, then the lines in front. Line, parentheses, okay. Set up every time for grouping. So you got 1x cubed minus 3x squared. Then we have 6x minus 18. This time it was plus 6x. Okay, 1 and 3 is 1. You got to pull down x to the second because that's on your final term, and that's a positive there, so I'm dividing by positive. 6 and 18 is in the 6th row, okay? Because if you look in the 6th row, 18's there. That doesn't have x, okay? That's positive, so I divide by positive. So I factor out 1x to the second, and I factor out 6. So that's 1x minus 3. And guess what? 1x minus 3. So I think pretty safe to say that these expressions are identical, so that expression 1x minus 3 pops out there. It's 1x minus 3. And what do I have left? 1x squared plus 6. Okay, so let's pull those over there for further to see if we go down further. Now that might have a minus, but the x doesn't even have a power, so I think it's safe to say that x minus 3 is done. And the plus, that makes that done. So this one I didn't have a dots over there. X minus 3 times x squared plus 6. Okay, next one. X to the power of 5 minus 3x to the power of 4 minus 16x plus 48. Ooh, a power of 5, okay? Guys, still 4 terms, okay? Still 4 terms. So grouping. Parentheses plus parentheses. And the lines outside. Right there, okay? So we're going to put 1x to the 5th minus 3x to the 4th. Then we're going to put negative 16x plus 48. 1 and 3 is 1. You have x to the 4th now, okay? So I'm pulling down x to the 4th. That's a positive, so it's positive, okay? Again, that's x to the 4th, x to the 4th. Okay, 16 and 48. 16th row, 48's there, so we go 16. Can't put an x because there's that 48 there without x. And the leading coefficient there's negative, so I need to be dividing by negative 16. So 1x to the 4th is out, negative 16's out, and that's going to be 1x minus 3. And guess what happens in the other one? 1x minus 3. So 1x minus 3 pulls out. And you're left with 1x to the 4th minus 16. Now pull those factors over, okay? 1x minus 3, then 1x to the 4th minus 16. Now there might be a minus, but when the x doesn't have a power, that's done, okay? What do we have here? This is going to be weird. Got a minus, and that's 4 times 4. Get that 1 out of there, okay? Could get it out of here too. Next, 4th is x squared times x squared, okay? Make your plus minus. X squared, 4, 4. Now, don't stop there. The one with the plus is done. But look at that minus. I mean, that's 2 times 2, and that's still has a power, and it's an even power, x times x. So that one goes down even further, okay? Plus makes it done. Minus 2 is not a perfect, and the minus and the x don't even have a power, so that's done, okay? So after all that, I get 4 factors. So x minus 3, x to the second plus 4, x plus 2, x minus 2. Okay, then the next one we're going to look at. I'm going to write, I don't like the one that's on the document, so yeah. Put 9x to the third minus 18x to the second. 9x third minus 18x to the second, okay, minus x plus 2. This is an interesting one, okay. 4 terms, okay. Set up the grouping. So you're going to have 9x to the third minus 18x to the second. Then negative 1x plus 2. So you got 9 and 18 here. So 9's row has 18. So 9's a GCF. Okay, and you got to pull down x second. And that's a positive in front, so positive 9x second. 1 and 2 is 1. You do need to put 1 under there. You don't put an x, but you have a negative, so you factor out negative 1. Okay, so I pull out 9x second, and I pull out negative 1. 9 divided by 9 is 1. X minus 2 cancel. That's going to be the same thing, 1x minus 2. So in each parentheses, I have the expression 1x minus 2. Okay? Well, now you have 9x to the second minus 1. Okay, pull those over here for further inspection. Now get that 1 out of there. Okay. That's a minus, but that x doesn't even have a power, so that's done. You can't break an x down that doesn't even have a power. Okay, minus, well, that's 1 times 1, and x has a power, x times x, and it's got a 9 in front of it, so that'd be 3 times 3. So you bet that breaks down. So 3x, 3x, 1, 1. One with the plus is done. There's a minus, but that x doesn't have a power, so there you go. So x minus 2, 3x plus 1, 3x minus 1. Alright, dude, that's it. That's the final installment of factoring. That's about all the factoring that we go over.